What up? Welcome back to Muppz Kitchen. I'm fired up. We got a great episode coming up to you, episode 4. As you can see, I'm representing some hometown Chicago colors. Got my Blackhawks hat on, 3 and 6, not a big deal. But yeah, this is definitely Chicago inspired dish. So let's think. What is Chicago known for? Hot dogs? Too easy, right? Too easy. I'm not gonna waste your time with some hot dogs. Polish? No, definitely not Polish. Italian beef? I'm gonna leave that to Mr. Portillo's. So let's think. What's the last thing? Oh, pizza, because it's the best pizza in the United States. I don't want to hear some mouth-breathing New Yorker come in saying no, they have the best pizza. Okay, all you guys got is some oversized cheesy bread with dough that needs a Viagra because it's just lumped over all damn day. All right, I'm gonna show you a great recipe. I'm gonna tag it in my YouTube. I kind of change it up a little bit to the way that I like it, and let's just get it going. Let's just stop talking and let's just get this thing going. All right, I'm back. We're gonna start with the sauce, and as I said, I found this online. Links in the YouTube comments, but I changed it up a little bit. I've played around with it, quite a few different styles. Depends on how you like your sauce. And today I'm gonna do a sauce with a little more kick to it. If you like a sweeter sauce, then you're gonna be adding more sugar as opposed to I keep a little sugar out. I do about half as much. But I'm gonna start with my tomato sauce. Just a can of that. Can of paste. Alright. 2 for 2. Alright, so this is the first change I make. Recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. I just think Italian seasoning is super overpowering, so I only do 1. A little oregano, also just 1 tablespoon. It says 1 to 2, but I've always gone 1. Anything overpowering like oregano or Italian, I just kind of keep it on the lower side of things. Alright, next up, we have half teaspoon of garlic powder. And a half a teaspoon of onion powder. Alright. We got a half a tablespoon of salt. This one calls for garlic salt, but I just got technically kosher salt, but any type of salt should work. A 1/4 tablespoon of ground pepper. And then a tablespoon of sugar. Let me get my sugar out. Alright, so this is where I've mixed things up, and you could play around with it to see what you like the best. And lately I've been really feeling this style as opposed to doing the sweet sauce. So you could add another teaspoon of sugar, or you could do a teaspoon of brown sugar. I've done all brown sugar or 2 teaspoons, and it's good. It comes out nice and sweet. Every once in a while, that is a nice little twist. However, today I'm feeling a little heat. I want a little kick. So I'm gonna do a 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne red pepper. And that's really all you need. I did a full teaspoon before, and that I was sweating. So I'm just gonna do a 1/2 this time around and see what comes out of it. But yeah, now we're ready to mix this bad boy up. Throw it in the refrigerator, and then we can move on to the all-important dough. You just want to kind of mix it up. This looks pretty good. Make sure it's not too soupy. If it is, then you need more paste. If it's too clumpy, then just keep mixing up because there's a lot of paste then. But if you follow along the directions, you can't really screw it up. Alright, next step is the dough. Alright, we're ready to start doughing this thing up. So this recipe is from the same website, which is joyfoodsunshine.com. Again, I'm going to throw that in the comment section if you guys want to try this thing out. You totally should. It's been a great recipe. The dough I haven't played around with. It's pretty straightforward. And yeah, I'm excited to throw it out there. So we're going to dive into it. First things first, we need a cup of warm water. Stress is warm. I don't know why, but I'm gonna listen to it. Alright, so we need a tablespoon of sugar, and a tablespoon of active dry yeast. Since this is, normally you have to let the dough raise
I'm not sure if I said that correctly, but whatever. But this, you don't have to. You just, since it's already active, the yeast is just gonna fire up real quick. You don't gotta let it sit overnight. So it's been working really well. We're gonna let this sit until it becomes frothy. That takes about 5 minutes. So I'll be back in just a second. All right, this is looking good. You can see it's getting a little bubbly. That's what you want. The sugar and the yeast have combined in the water. Time to move on and start making this thing look like some dough. All right, next up, tablespoon of olive oil. Drop that in there. You're just going to stir this up, make sure it mixes well. So, the reason why I think Chicago pizza is better than New York pizza, because those are the top two. Sorry, California. You could doll up your pizza as much as you want. It's just not the same. It's all about the crust, man. It's like looking for a home. The crust is the foundation, and you don't want any cracks in it. I don't like a pizza that's like trying to run away from you as you eat it. You need a nice, solid crust to go along with some great ingredients. In order to have the best pizza. I mean, the other thing too is New York pizza just looks like cheesy bread. There's like no sauce, you know. While the crust is the foundation, the sauce is equally as important. So yeah, I'm basically settling that argument. Don't even gotta worry about it. So this is mixed up pretty well. We're coming up on the last couple ingredients, which is a teaspoon of salt, and the all-important flour. So this calls for like 2 to 2.5 cups of flour. I go 2 cups. 2.5 is a little much. Anything less, you're gonna have some soft dough. This is my favorite thing to cook. Honestly, I love handling dough. Yeah, it's just, I don't know what it is. It's just, it's really fun to play with. And you get to kind of customize the ingredients and stuff like that, so it's always nice. Alright, I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit before I start mixing it. Let that flour kind of seep into everything else. And I'm ready, my pizza tray ready to go. I have the oven preheated at 400 degrees. The directions say 450. I just control everything a little bit better at 400. So for my pan, I'm gonna put a little olive oil on here. This is gonna help with sticking and with actually rolling the dough itself. Not too much olive oil though, because it will kind of suck up the flour that you're gonna put on here. Make sure it's all over the pan. good. Keep that for saucing. And you're just gonna sprinkle this all over the pan. So you'll see when this comes into play. When we first start working with the dough's a little soupy. This is gonna help structure it up. Let's start mixing this thing up. So at first you're just gonna use your spatula, and then eventually you're gonna get your hands dirty and get in there. See that clumping up nice? Once it starts clumping up, we're almost ready to get our hands in there. Get our hands on that dough. It's looking good. All right, now that's the fun part. Let's start shaping this thing up. I'm gonna move this over, start rolling it. See how it's a little soupy like that? I'm going to give it a little time to kind of raise up a little bit. While we're doing that, we're going to start working on some ingredients. I got sausage and pepperoni, pretty easy today. And yeah, let's just jump into it. Alright, so I made it easy on myself. Bought some pre-made pepperoni. Sausage I like using kind of like the breakfast style. The hot version. The extra kick. Sometimes I'll throw that devil's butter on it too. Just to give it that extra fire. But I like kind of making my own size sausages. You know, big pieces as opposed to just like the little guys. Usually works out pretty good. I'll just roll that up first. I'll grab myself a pan, then throw these in there. We'll get those going. Alright, we're having a little trouble with the dough, so I went with the other half cup of flour. I don't know, it is a pretty hot day out today. My apartment is a little steamy. So I was having some trouble getting this dough to rise. But with this extra flour, it is coming up now. So we're just gonna roll this thing, get all that flour all over it. I like to keep it in a ball as long as I can before I start stretching it. So this is a little bit too much flour on the pan to go in with. So I'm going to have to clean that off before I stretch it, which I'll do right now. But this dough looks good. It did finally roll, so I'm happy with it. So now you know if it ever is, if the dough is not rolling well, if it's still pretty soupy, just add some flour to it and you should be good to go. Alright, this thing's ready to be stretched. So I'm going to add my olive oil back on and a little flour because that's going to help with sticking. Put that all over the pan again. Check up on the sides too. That looks good. And a little flour. Just a little bit there. Oh yeah, this is rolling up real good. So this is still a little soupy. It's really hot in my apartment with the oven going. So I'm gonna add a little flour to it. I don't have a proofer, so I'll just use a fork. You don't want to stab it. You don't want to kill it. Just be gentle with it. It doesn't have to be like every inch, just the gist of it. And you need to prep this. So this is going to be, I'm going to toss this in the oven for about 5 minutes before I actually throw anything else on it. So this is going in right now. Alright, so while that dough's prepping, I got my ingredients going. I got my sausages in my little skillet on medium. You don't want to overcook these because I do have to bake still. I threw a little pepper at the base of the pan just for a little extra flavor. Yeah, they'll cook through in the middle once you actually bake the pizza. Alright, so those are looking pretty good. Alright, Alright, so this is my little added flavor to my crust. It's a really nice additive. I pulled it from like an Olive Garden breadstick recipe. A little oil in here. A little tiny bit of garlic powder. You could do minced garlic as well. I didn't feel like cutting up garlic today, so I'm just gonna do the cheap route and do a little bit of garlic powder. And then we're gonna add a little butter. And we're just gonna melt this down, and then we're gonna coat the crust with it. Look at how good that crust is coming out. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Now it's the best part, is actually down this bad boy up. So I got my garlic butter, olive oil mix, and let's just paint this thing up. You just don't want any of the dough showing. Now you don't want to come up too far. You kind of see where the crust is going to roll. It's going to rise a little bit. So obviously, like that, that's too far up. We got to clean that up. You don't want that. Alright, let's give this a little base layer of cheese. We're doing mozzarella. Let's go to. That sauce is so good. And what I like using the extra sauce for is I can do like breadsticks later in the week. If you want to heat it, you should definitely heat up the sauce when you do something else. And yeah, it works out well. So let's just do a little base layer of cheese here. Alright, let's cover this thing in a cheese blanket and then get this thing in the oven. So I don't like the cheese overbearing. So I just put a healthy ratio on there. If you like cheese, like a lot of cheese, just prepare to leave pizza in longer so it cooks all the way. This is about ready to go. So I'm gonna slap this in the oven. I set a timer for 20 minutes. I believe the recipe asks for 25. 20 minutes at 400 is the way I like doing it, and it usually comes out all right. Alright, you see how the base is just a light tan, but that crust is a darker tan. We want that whole area to be that nice brown tan look to it. You still got some white in there. Yeah, so this is I might actually go to 25 minutes today. But we're gonna do another check here in about 10 minutes. Alright, we pulled it a second time. Let's take a look underneath. Oh yeah, that's a nice golden crust all around. That looks good. I'm gonna throw it back in for like 2 more minutes just to make sure, and then I'm gonna let it sit, and then we'll cut it and eat it. I'm excited. There she is in all her glory. It's time to cut this thing up. And when you're talking Chicagoland pizza, there's only one way to cut it, and that's pie cut. So let's go ahead and slice this bad boy up. I'm gonna let this sit, let it cool off a little bit, and then we'll dig in. Whew. I've had the AC pump in here. It was a bit steamy in the kitchen. I was even getting showered before I ate, but I know that cayenne pepper in the sauce is gonna give me a little kick, so I'm gonna start sweating again anyways. Alright, let's dig in. Look at that crust. Look at that, just sitting there nice. It's not running away from me. And let's see. I got a little Parmesan cheese and red pepper flakes too on here. So. No such thing as bad pizza. This thing is fire. Nice little kick to it in the sauce. If you want to start making your own pizzas, I highly suggest starting with this recipe. It's really easy and it gives you options that you can play around with. And I know I was giving New Yorkers and Californians a hard time on their style of pizza, but there is no such thing as bad pizza. I like how creative you get with it, and I think it's just something fun to try and play with as you grow in your comfortability level in your cooking career. So yeah, I appreciate everyone joining me. This pizza's fire. I'm gonna probably eat the whole thing. But you guys have a good weekend. I don't know what I'm cooking yet next week or what day I'm starting, but add me on Instagram, Muppz Kitchen, and you'll get your updates. So I appreciate you guys joining. Have a good one.